Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of this Coventry Culture Chats. I'm joined today by Martin.
Hello.
So Martin, could you just tell us what is your role at Coventry?
Yeah, so I'm Associate Head International within Coventry Business School. So I really manage all areas of internationalisation. So obviously international student support, but also all the international partnerships that we have, and also the international experiences that all of our students have.
Okay. So as the focus of these videos is for students like yourself, hopefully watching this, coming across, we're going to be focusing on...
Exciting time.
Hopefully, yes. Nervous, feeling good. Now, Martin, my first question is, I guess, why does Coventry want international students?
Yeah, well, Coventry is a very international university, and a lot of our staff are from all different countries, and we really, our unique selling proposition, our reason for being is being international.
Yeah.
So we want an international community of learners, and together we form a community of practice because we learn from each other, and we understand the subjects that we're teaching and learning in the context of the global economy and global societies. It's really important, actually.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. The USP, if you're coming in, this is great vocabulary, USP, and communities of practice is a big thing within education field. So the international students help the home students.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's important that we learn from each other, and quite often in classes we really draw upon the skills and the experiences of international students.
Okay.
If we're learning marketing, for example, we will always look at marketing from the perspective of different countries and different cultures.
Great. That's sort of leading me on to this next question. Obviously, for many international learners have different challenges through the home students, mostly language.
Yes.
I think is language and culture.
Yeah.
So how does the teaching staff, how does the university prepare for that?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question, and we do a lot. I mean, just before I start, it's worth saying that this is a really exciting time. This is an important life event. So in essence, you're migrating for a period of time. So we recognise that is an important time really in your lives, and we try to develop a whole range of support. So we have within the classes, so within the courses, certainly the style of teaching will be tailored to the fact that we do have a very diverse group of students. So it won't all be exams, there will be a whole range of teaching and learning activities, so case studies, some presentations which might be daunting at first, there will be group work, there will be simulations of real business situations, and a lot of the coursework, the assessment, will be contextualised to your experiences and where you want to work for your career, and also where you've been studying previously.
Yeah. So one of the areas that I'm quite interested in, I think, from a teaching perspective, is choosing materials. When you mentioned case studies, presentations, the choice of materials. In the old times, and one complaint I think for many is that there was very sort of Euro or British-centric focus on all of the examples will be either from British or certainly Western focus. Is that being addressed at the
Absolutely, and I went to a whole conference about this, and it's really important. Coventry is leading the way in many ways, because Coventry is the most international university in the UK. So our students, for example, more students from Coventry travel abroad than any other UK university. So we're already very international, so we have this international outlook, I think, within the courses. So case studies are an obvious example, but it's a lot more than case studies. It's the whole way of thinking, and not just taking a Western view and a Euro-centric view of thinking. And we often call it decolonising the curriculum. decolonialising. Both of those are used, and it's about really making sure that the learning is relevant to a range of people from different cultures and different nations. So, yeah, it's the case studies and the examples will be from all over the world, but also the ways of thinking will also be drawn from all over the world.
It's good to say that obviously this relates back to the communities of practice, so that we welcome and we hope for and encourage the students from around the world to participate in bringing their viewpoints
Absolutely,
forward.
absolutely, and that can be quite daunting at first, because if you're learning in your second language, sometimes third language. I'm trying to learn Spanish at the moment, and I wouldn't like to do a degree in Spanish. So language is one thing which, people grow in confidence. So international students, and particularly from China, will grow in confidence, and they will increasingly be able to interact in teams and also with their lecturers as well. And that's really important, and we really want people to bring their experiences to the course.
Great. I just want to circle back to one thing, because when we talk about Coventry being the most international university in the UK, great title, and part of that is again sending our students abroad.
Yes.
And there is a lot of support, financial, specifically support. And is that support also available to international students?
It certainly is. And did you know, George, that 25%, a quarter of all the students who travel abroad are from Coventry?
Wow.
So Coventry has invested a lot, and part of that investment is, people like me, so I'm quite grateful. But also it's the subsidising international travel. So the university will typically pay at least half of the cost of international field trips, international volunteering, that type of thing. And we had, every year, we have nearly 2,000 students within the faculty who travel abroad, either for studying abroad for a year, but much larger numbers will actually go abroad for maybe a week, 2 weeks, on a field trip.
Where have people gone recently then?
Oh, everywhere.
So I know we've been to Malaysia.
Yeah.
I've been to China many.
Yeah.
I'll be going back to China in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, but I know we've had students going.
Yeah.
Wow. People gone to Australia, South Africa.
We all over the world. I mean, we have a lot of European trips, so we have a whole portfolio, a whole program of European trips. But we go everywhere. So we go to South America, we go to the United States, we go to Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, all over the world. Absolutely, and Australia too.
So this is generally on a course basis, or
yeah. So some of the field trips are specific to the courses. So we might have for example, a sport management field trip, which is very specific, but most of them are open to all students in the faculty.
Excellent. So remember that there's plenty of information, and this is where it's very useful to get to know your teacher, get to know your lecturer, so they might recommend trips to you. This is check back to my other videos about this.
It's a case of making sure that you are engaged, that you're talking to your fellow students and also talking to your lecturers in order to make sure that you know what's happening and what opportunities there are. But what I was going to say, there's a reason that we do all of that, and that's to develop intercultural competency.
Okay.
So
go ahead. Intercultural competencies.
Yes.
Well, go for it.
So this is the ability to interact and to work with people from different cultures. So it's the skills and the characteristics that you need.
Yes, that's something that Britain needs quite a lot more of at the moment.
Exactly.
But how does the school do that then?
Yeah, well, just one more thing. I mean, intercultural competencies, it's generally agreed that there are three components. There's knowledge, we also have attitudes, and there's also the behaviour of intercultural competency.
So there will be a quiz about this.
There's no exam, don't worry. So that's why it's really important to learn about other cultures so that you have the knowledge, and also to understand your own culture and the cultural differences between your culture and the culture that you're living in or working in. Developing the right attitudes is important, but also the behaviour, putting it into practice and actually practicing intercultural interactions, interacting with people from other cultures. And that's where all the mobility comes in and the field trips, because our students put it into practice, they actually do it, which is quite unusual actually. Most universities don't have as much as we do.
Which is great. Again, great reason to choose Coventry, but also, again, for our students, that's, I think we've been finding from an employability standpoint, for massive international companies, for international trade, for basically for so many things, having that sort of experience on your resume, those sort of skills to say that you can you have experience to not just language but understanding and developing, working across cultural barriers, across cultural gaps.
Well, you're quite right, and we use the term global graduates, and all of the research shows that global graduates, people who have intercultural competency skills, they are much more likely to both I suppose to attain a good position when they graduate, but also to progress throughout their career as well.
Yeah, great. So I think we're running about out of time. So let's just review. Yeah. Martin is in charge of the internationalisation, and he wants international students.
Absolutely.
And he wants to send international students away to different countries to have good experiences.
Yeah.
And do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, the only other thing that I was thinking about is that moving to another country is a very exciting time, but it's also a challenge. So there are certain things that you can do as well to make that a little bit easier. And I would say one of the things is getting involved in lots of activities. Yeah. So the university has endless clubs and societies, all different interests, all different types of sport as well. So inevitably, if you come to Coventry, you will get some support from your fellow students, from your country, even from your region. So that's important, but it's also important to try and meet as many people as possible, to meet local people, so people from the UK and also people from the city as well. So there are even opportunities to get involved in communities, arts organisations, theatres, all sorts of opportunities. So the more that you can capitalise, the more people that you can interact with, the easier it will be, but also the more successful you will be, because you will truly be a global graduate.
Absolutely. Great. So the more you put in, the more you get out.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a great finishing thought. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like to talk about, please feel free to get in touch or write a comment below. Thank you. And thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.